going on, guys? This is Cold Charlie. You're watching the Cold Charlie Show, where I kick America's government in the balls. Today's super engaging topic: media immersion. One of the most powerful mechanics of media immersion is that it, within interpretation, creates its own barriers aside from the issues in question. While there are two sides to every story, there are also two parties to every issue: the people who agree with it and the people who don't. Half of America hated George Zimmerman and would swear to you up and down through facts and evidence that they knew what really went down as if they were there and witnessed it firsthand, while the other side clamored his innocence of self-defense and felt he was set up by the media for a case of violent race hate. Same thing with Casey Anthony and James Holmes, to name a recent few. No matter what the issue is, people will always be divided between two perceptions of the same spectrum and refuse to consider anything beyond it. Granted, there are third parties involved, like people like me. We are way too few and far between to maintain a noticeable footing. Honestly, when it even comes to other people, I don't like to converse about politics or religion because most of them have no fucking clue what they're talking about. But the media provides them with the illusion that they do. They get so heated about it, in the end it's like the issue was never even worth addressing in the first place. People cling so hard to their spoon-fed beliefs these days that it's almost like they're unwilling to accept any possibility to the contrary. And that makes it impossible for people to unite under anything for any reason. We just can't come together like that. And it isn't just this generation that's been failing altogether. America as a society has been declining for a while now. The mainstream media is doing nothing to soften the blow. I will never forget the last time I tried to strike up a conversation of a philosophical nature and I got a response like, "I've just never really thought about it." That's because socially, the nature of people in this world, they're leeches. We latch onto other people's problems because it grants us a moment's reprieve from our own. Combine that with our natural tendency to live in denial about things in our life for way too long, this creates a toxic combination where people who are much better off considering their self-preservation are too lost in the endeavors of others. And before long, it's too late and the irreversible, dangerous changes to society have already been made. And actually, now that I think about it, I'm just tired of news in general. We spend way too much time worrying about the same shit over and over again. Everyone's parents are talking about Syria, their kids are talking about the same Miley Cyrus fiasco, exchanging the same mindless jargon that everyone else their age has been using, Yolo. And the media then just warps these things into consistent marketable scandals. I mean, I'd be fucking mind blown if someone had some kind of subject matter or topic of conversation that was not something of the norm at the time. White phosphorus bombs. Have you seen what that stuff does? Holy shit! Media is powerful. Just as powerful as the aspects of high school rumors or word of mouth or even newspapers. But with the ever-prominent evolving advancements in the technological age, sharing information has become, for all intents and purposes, seemingly effortless. And controlling the thoughts of others is easier than it ever has been. I mean, to be fair, it's always been possible to manipulate the thoughts of people through the inference of suggestion. The only problem with that is that we as a society have been staring down the barrel of people that are way better at it for way longer. When you boil down to it, though, it's not a question of, why aren't people more like-minded, or why is this generation seen so brain-dead? I mean, considering our recent discoveries, I'd say it's pretty obvious. We get fluoride regulated into our water supply, which constricts our pineal gland from conceiving intricate thought. We have bromide in our Mountain Dew, which is a flame retardant found in plastic bottles. That can't be good for us. Proven to induce schizophrenia and organ damage or even failure. And then you get the whole GMO Monsanto conspiracy, where we're just now finding out that our health foods have been sprayed with chemicals that produce health problems down the road. I mean, these are just a few examples that we're aware of. I'm sure there are plenty of examples out there that we don't. It's hard to figure out exactly who to point the finger at. I can't be angry at the masses for being stupid when their stupidity was a predetermined factor behind the hands of some other entity that we have yet to even get a full focus on. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's tons of interesting little articles that people just don't seem to catch on to. James Holmes, the Batman shooting. Am I the only person in the world that really just don't think this shit adds up? I mean, and it was like right around the time that the controversy for the legislation of our gun laws was being compromised. Some random nobody suits up in full SWAT issue tactical armor and destroys a bunch of Bat fans in the middle of a Batman movie. What the fuck? I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the world is so fucked up right now and not even 10% of us can fathom the thought of it. To the average person, that idea is terrifying. We have been groomed and conditioned for other people.
The government.
To deal with all of our problems for us.
Food stamps, Social Security, pension, tenure, HUD.
For so long that when they become the problem, we expect them to just fix it themselves while we sit idly by like sheep and worry about the most important things in life. The next Call of Duty game, or the next YouTube video that Jenna Marbles puts out. Okay, to be fair, she is fucking hot as fuck. Jenna Marbles, I love you, please marry me. I mean, it's haunting how closely we as a society have returned to our roots. I mean, sheeps are fed, tended to, and sometimes even entertained. But the second they leave the pen, even if it is just to graze, farmer sends the blue heeler dogs out to scare them back into the pen, or kill them trying. Behind a plethora of people that were taught to let other people fix their problems for them, the concept of conscious thought has pretty much went down the drain. There's this popular quote that goes, "You can't help someone if they can't help themselves." This is all entirely too true. I mean, sticking all these needy families on welfare and food stamps and shit, it helps them a little bit, but in the long span of things, it does not prevent them or future families from committing the same mistakes. If you're still in high school and you have a kid or two, you don't need food stamps or welfare. You need to reevaluate your lifestyle. And this kind of behavior has been accepted into social normalcy. And all the irony of it, it's actually a lot like raising a kid. They make a mistake, you discipline them. And you teach them what they did was wrong and why. Not follow behind them with a rag for their messes. Before long, they will become accustomed to the idea that what they're doing is deemed acceptable. I don't know about you, but I remember exactly how nefarious and stubborn I was as a kid. I didn't take no for an answer, even if it was in my best interest. Attach that to a grown member of society and you can easily see how dangerous the coming repercussions will be. I mean, we've already begun to see it all around the nation. See like these viral videos of like grown-ass mothers like cheering on their daughters to participate in school fights, or Mike Vick, a grown-ass black man, participating in pit bull fighting rings. So like, in retrospect, America is actually just an obese, red-headed stepchild with the government following behind it to clean up its mistakes. Because at least then, America can expect the government at the end of the night to change our diaper for us. And then of course people like that wonder why the self-reliant, self-sufficient people fucking hate you. And then of course people like that wonder why the self-reliant, self-sufficient people fucking hate you so much. What did I ever do? Absolutely nothing. College-educated, degree-wielding, tax-paying citizens are busting their asses to barely scrape together a living for themselves, while at the same time being forced to fork up a portion of that money that they busted their ass for to fund government programs that allow you to sit on your ass, smoking meth, watching Honey Boo Boo, on Facebook playing Candy Crush, or cruising back and forth to the mailbox to collect a check of money that you didn't earn yourself in any way, shape, or form, aside from fucking without a condom and losing a job because you smoke too much pot, or because you have a non-existent work ethic. And then you feel like you have the right to complain about anything political, or even like a right to vote. Socialism is stupid. Point blank period. A few years back when Barack Obama first gained position in office, a college professor engaged in a experiment with his government class by applying a method of socialist curve to the way he graded his students, as opposed to the normal grading format. So instead of grading each student individually based on how they performed on their individual assignments, he graded everyone to a round estimate at the same time. Over the following 2-week period of examination, the class average plummeted so terribly that everyone failed. One half of the class busted their ass to maintain the average they have, while the other half simply blew off their work and did nothing, because they knew the other half of the class would pull their weight, and they felt like they didn't have to contribute anything. I mean, honestly, in a world where people can't be expected to help themselves, and they don't respect the ones that do, I really don't see a future worth envisioning. I mean, we sat here and watched England, a place that embraced a far superior economy for the longest time, topple before the exact same issue that we're experiencing right now. But we still sit idly by and wait for the government to change our diapers because we believe that somehow we're different. We are the special exception. Because we're America! 50-state collective of entitled pioneers with ownerships of rights. But we're owned by China. Half of us are morbidly obese. And we can't even hope to live any American dream without enlisting in the military. And even that's a long shot. Right. In all reality, at the end of the day, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Except this time, the horse's intelligence has been poisoned with fluoride, bromine, and tons of other numbing agents, so even if it wanted to drink, you couldn't expect it to. I used to be so terrified at the concept of death, because we used to live in a world that was worth living in. In today's society, people are expected, coached even, on how and when to die, so at least it can serve as a convenience for some mongrel's agenda. I mean, even if we spent the rest of our lives declaring independence and change and fucking protesting the man, by the time any revolution engaged sometime in the future, and we somehow made a comeback, I will have already died from the conditioned side effects of some mandated flu vaccine that I got when I was 8 years old anyway. Now, this doesn't mean that we should give up as an entity. I'm never going to give into this lifestyle, and I don't think anyone else should either. I'm just saying that, for all intents and purposes, and I don't know, even as cheesy as it sounds, the only one that can change the world is you. You, the viewer. If you care about the future, well, not maybe necessarily your own, but your children or their children's children, or etc., down the line of your lineage, you cannot allow this national degradation to continue without taking some fault to yourself. When the rings in the sky of this calamitous reality start to spiral around your little uninspired eyes, just remember one thing and one thing only. You have no one, absolutely no one, to blame but yourself. Nutshot! This is Cold Charlie signing off. You've been watching The Cold Charlie Show. Tune in next time. Be sure to leave a comment, response, subscribe, all that fine dandy stuff. Go for it.